connectivity has no religion, no caste, and that is one thing that I realized very strongly. That so the first time learner have no hesitation. They will just start pushing keys and all that, but you have to trust them. What you call as data center, we call them phygital data center. It's something like what you see in Telangana, Me Seva, but Me Seva in a bigger manner. I am your counselor, I am your doctor, I am your reporter, I am your information counselor. And so there is a whole 100 titles for that woman in the village. Even today, we are consuming the data more than we can produce data.
Hello, my name is Akash and welcome to another episode sponsored by and powered by Touch a Life Foundation. Today sitting next to me is Mr. Osama Manzar. Hello sir, welcome. He is an author, entrepreneur and a columnist for Mint. After a stint and a successful stint of tech journalism, 2 decades back he shifted to doing and founded Digital Empowerment Foundation in 2002. Digital Empowerment Foundation is based in Delhi right now and touched to close to 40 million people across rural India and tribal villages. He set up data centers and also calls them internet soldiers. It's a very honor to sit next to you and meet you today. So I was very interested to know from journalism and such a hardcore media background to completely switching your entire career to starting DEF. Can you walk me through that journey, please?
Yeah, 2.5 decade of journey is difficult to do in a few minutes, but what is interesting about 25 years back, internet was in a nascent stage and I was in tech journalism and I also had a stint at Hindustan Times as heading their internet division. So I had a experience of new media also, how to make websites and how to go online and things like that. And then after that, I ran a software company for 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I wrote my first book called Internet Economy of India in 2001, that is when I think I got smitten by this jargon called digital divide. And since I come from villages and my early life was from village and my early journalism of struggling journalism was mostly into developmental journalism.
Okay.
So I had a very strong affinity and close look at the poverty of India, villages of India and so on and so forth. And there was this realization came to my mind that most of the people are on the wrong side of digital divide, right? Even now. But connectivity has no religion, no caste. It's very democratic.
True.
So once you get connected, you become equal. And that is one thing that I realized very strongly, that if you want to bring equity in society and community and all that, and among the poorest of the poor, just get them connected to the internet. And that was a very strong thought that came into my mind. And I thought that, okay, let's go. And so I left my company and, and started Digital Empowerment Foundation with one mission, is that empowering people at the edge of information. Edge at that time is like on the wrong side of the edge, right? And that is what we started doing initially. Of course, since we started from bedroom and there was no money, nothing, and so it was a lot of struggle, but mostly about issues, talking about e-governance, talking about poverty from digital divide perspective. We did consulting, we did advisory, we did a lot of research. I traveled all over the country to find out which were the best projects in the country at that time.
Okay.
Right. So I went to Kerala, I went to Karnataka, I went to Andhra. At that time it was Andhra. In 2004. And the realization of traveling came into my mind because when I was going into conferences and talking to people, I realized that most of the people are talking off the air, so, and I mean, they're talking out of the PPT, so, poverty alleviation, technology and big word, but there was no meaning to that. So, and even I didn't know deeper issues. So when I started traveling, e-Seva and Akshaya in Kerala and Bhumi in Karnataka, and then Assam I went to Haryana, I went to Madhya Pradesh. So all over the country actually I did more like a pilgrimage of digital
Oh, wow, okay.
wondering, and I wrote a book also on that one,
Okay.
but never published.
Oh.
And that what was on the ground happening,
Hmm.
and that made me understand that technology is always neither good nor bad, not even neutral. It is what you can use it for.
Hmm.
So technology is as good as it does,
Hmm. Like a tool.
and then yeah, like it's a tool. You need to figure out how do you use it, and then gradually we started correlating technology to the poorest of the poor, and the journey has been so much that initially we started exploring which are the best practices all over Asia, all over
Okay.
South Asia, all over India. We conceived awards, and we started recognizing people on the basis of award as that what is the best practices and so on and so forth. And then we started setting up community information resource center in the villages
Okay.
where there is no internet, where there is no
Hmm.
infrastructure, nothing, but we set it up,
All
and
right.
we find local person to
Hmm.
use the technology or the laptops or the desktops and everything for education, for access to information, for everything, and that picked up very well, and now we have 2,400 or 500 centers in
Wow.
27 states
Okay.
and 300 districts, and we want to make it reach to 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have mapped the country in such a way that every poor area
Hmm.
needs digital infrastructure with connectivity, which is run by a woman and which is
Okay.
run by a backward class woman
Hmm.
or a Dalit woman or a minority woman or a tribal woman. And because women only understand direct relationship of the need of the people,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. Correct.
And if she is earning,
Hmm.
she will also use the money in a right direction,
True.
right? So we have 2,500 what you call as data center. We
Yeah.
call them phygital data center, right?
Okay.
It's so the data
Yeah.
center is a human data center,
Humans.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these are phygital. They are called Suchnapreneurs,
Okay.
and they are in the villages. They do reporting, they do writing, they do information dissemination, they do
Hmm.
entitlement delivery. It's something like what you see in Telangana, Me Seva,
Okay.
but Me Seva in a bigger manner. So
Hmm.
it's an education center, it's a health
Health
center,
center.
it's a government entitlement center, it's a counseling center. So there is a poster that we have where we say that I am a Wi-Fi, I am an internet, I am a woman, I
Yeah.
am your counselor, I am your doctor, I am your reporter, I am your information counselor. And so there is a whole 100
Hmm.
titles for that woman in the village.
Okay.
I am in your information trustee and so on and so forth. So lots of fun, and that makes us grounded because they are
Yeah.
the real people. Yeah.
True. I think it's a true testament that I believe I think you have understood the importance of right to information than a lot of people have before. But it comes what you're telling me about comes to a very interesting question to me. How did you bridge the gap and educate the people to use your resources you're offering correctly to make their own sort of centers for their own needs in their villages and districts?
Okay, interesting. I want to pick up your first line
Hmm.
when you say, we picked up right to information
Yeah.
before somebody else. Actually, that is not true, but I want to highlight that part. Every person in India has right to information, a right to education,
Yeah.
a right to health, a right to food, right? Right to health and
Yes,
so on,
by the
right to finance
constitution,
by the
yes.
and they
But
have right, but
yeah,
they don't have access.
correct. Yeah, that's what I
It's
meant
very
as in.
interesting, and all this access is through internet now
Hmm.
or with through digital. It's something like I want my ration but I can't get it unless the internet is working and my biometric is identified,
Hmm.
and then I will get the ration. So government sends me DBT, direct benefit transfer, comes into my bank. I can't withdraw it because I don't have
Because
UPI or
hmm.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
So everything is behind digital.
Hmm.
I'm sick. I want to see the doctor. I can't go to the hospital. I need a video conferencing facility
But I
to
don't have.
talk to a doctor to get a counseling, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, and that is exactly where these centers that we established they do. And coming to how do they run it, and how do they know that they have to run it, and you will be very very surprised to know that when we started our first center and few
Yeah.
centers, we gave them curriculum, we gave them how to learn, we gave them how to follow this MS Office and open it
Yeah.
and all that. And after few months when we went there, we saw that they haven't opened the any pedagogy book or any curriculum, not at all, and still they know everything. And then we realized that the people best learn on their own. They learn through peers, and in each computers, two or three people would be sitting. One will
Okay.
hold the mouse, the other will keyboard, the other will say on the screen, take this one mouse here,
Yeah.
and they will learn from the caricature, the
Yeah.
keyboards in such a way that we can't, as educated people, you can figure it out. So the first time learner have no hesitation. They will just start pushing keys and all that, but you have to trust them.
Correct.
You have to leave it to them. So actually, digital literacy started happening just by facilitating infrastructure. That itself is more than enough. We have a program where we have taught women how to become a wireless engineer, how to
Okay.
become a hardware engineer, how to install software, how to do all these payment. All these women who run the centers, they have no
Yeah.
background except one, that they are trustworthy, and everybody in the villages like them, and they have entrepreneurial skill. They want to really do social work, and they want to also earn some money. That's their basic criteria. Everything else is learned on the job. Everything else is learned on the job,
Yeah.
and it's not difficult at all, especially after mobile. Mobile screen and mobile ecosystem is very very visual, very very emoji types. It's
Yeah.
less textual,
Informal.
it's more informal and also visual.
Correct.
Everything you from the emojis, from the sign language, from those kind of things, and that's the reason why it becomes much more adaptive.
Yeah, so so many stories. You said lot of districts and states you visited. Is there one story or one inspiration that comes to mind that keeps the cause going for you as an inspiration or
We
motto?
have been to thousand and thousand of villages, but at least two stories I must tell you.
Yeah.
There is this community called Agaria community, Little Run of Kutch,
Oh, okay.
in Gujarat,
Gujarat.
which is on the border, and they are the
Salt desert.
salt pan workers. So they are called Agaria. Agaria means salt
Okay.
pan workers, and this community 6 months live in the desert,
Okay.
and 6 months they come back and live in their own village.
All right.
And they're very interesting. They are never in their life they have been part of the census, so they are not counted. They are uncounted
Oh,
people,
okay.
right? But they still do this salt pan workers and do that. And in that entire desert, there is no internet. And a
Yeah.
project came, and we thought that how do we connect them and all that. And the beautiful story is that when we went there, they built their own house for 6 months. House means they call it 2 BHK, but
Okay.
it's all made on used material like asbestos sheet or something
Okay.
like that, or a tin sheet. They will put the cloth or the tirpal and things like that. But what is beautiful is two things. One is that before they build their own house, they built a small little nest for the birds.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they say that in that entire desert there is no place for the birds to sit, right? So when we are here, first build the house for them, and then they build the house for themselves, because birds will immediately come and then they can eat whatever we are leftovers and things like that. The second thing, they used to communicate with mirror, reflection of mirror.
Okay.
So if the same salt pan workers, I am working here a few kilometers somebody else, if they have to send a message, they will reflect through the mirror,
Oh,
and from
wow.
that light that person will come to you, depending upon how you are flashing the light. That was their communication system. So I am less excited to tell you what we did. I'm more excited to
I
tell you
know.
what they were doing. But of course, we bought a van. We put a Wi-Fi antenna on that. Then we connected that antenna with wireless through a local police station where there was a high tower. We put the internet on the base, and then we wirelessly
Two.
connected the two radios, and that is how we got the internet there. And the children
Wow.
in that area would watch and play on tablet, which was there in the car. So it will stay in one place 2 hours, then it will go to another place, then again we will change the direction of the antenna, then we go to the third. Like that we would go to 10 locations. So
Wow.
there was a divided number of days that we would go 3 days here, 3 days there, 3 days there, and that is how they got to learn internet, figure it out. We did the survey on them and so on and so forth. So that was one. And the second was in 2005 or 6, I went to Vaishali. It's a Buddha's place, big place in Bihar, across the Ganges. And there I found this Raghav guy who has built a radio transmitter on his own, and he had a studio like this, not closed one, open studio,
Okay.
and he used to broadcast community radio
Oh.
on 20 kilometers.
Oh,
So he
wow,
used to
okay.
play all kind of radio announcements, come for radio repair and this and that, and the whole thing was absolutely professionally he was running, and he was charging for advertisements and things like that and all that.
His own
Of course, it was
sort of-
not licensed.
Yeah, but-
so he became very popular, and then because his popularity actually brought the administration and closed it down.
Okay.
So
Oh,
then,
okay.
so then we went and figured it out, and he made the transmitter, 50-watt transmitter, in just 100 rupees.
Wow.
You know,
okay.
he converted the mic.
Hmm.
Mic is usually wireless, so
Correct.
he picked it up that if the mic can work wirelessly, I can broadcast wirelessly. And then he converted the potency of that wireless
Wow.
into kilometers. So because local mic works only about maybe 100 meters, 200 meters, maybe in a hall,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Through between the mic and the studio, on the speaker.
Speaker.
But that one is like a professional FM
Wow.
transmitter. That those are, and is still working. He is now part of our Museum of Digital Society in Pondicherry.
Okay.
So he's making radios. He's making all kind of stuff. He knows
Wow.
carpentry. He knows radio. He knows plumbing. He knows electronics. He knows electricity. He is a complete scientist without degree.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One more thing, previously earlier when we were having this conversation, you mentioned about women from marginalized communities, and you're making them be the leaders of your centers. What was the thought process behind that? And I would also like to know if you can dwell into the tribal villages, that aspect of it. How did you reach to them, and how were you able to make your impact in their lives?
A woman thing is very interesting, and most of the people know this, but we figured out that when we started opening center in the beginning,
Yeah.
when the male were there, mostly boys and young people were there, they're always aspiring to leave the place, and attrition rate was very high. The
Okay.
center used to get closed down because the guy will run away and things like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
leave the center and things. So, and they are also not stable. They're always aspiring to do something, and this place need stability and
Correct.
trust and everything. And then out of some of the centers, we found that those which were being run by women, they were stable, people were relying on them, and because of the women, more women were coming
Correct.
to the center.
Yeah.
Because of the women, more girls were coming to the center. Because of the women, more older people will come to the center. And the only people who will not come to the center are the bad elements. So it worked so well, and then every money that she was earning,
Yeah.
it was going for the teaching or the education of the children. It's not going for the drinking of the husband, right? Most of the people use the money when the male is earning, first their recreation or first their something, and then only it comes to home. But in the woman case, it always goes to home first. Women always think of everything around her domestic area, right? My children are okay, my husband is okay, my house is okay, and therefore it turned out that they are a better social capital and
Wow.
social trustee than the male, and that is when we started looking for women to become socialpreneurs. So that was one. There is no rocket science in lower caste, because it was always and always in our mind, and all the data says
Correct.
that in the villages, in any case, most of the people are backward class and OBC and minority and tribal and all that. But that is also a sign that they are left in the village because they could not go to urban areas because of being either marginalized or not capable of going, and that
Yeah.
is exactly what we want to serve. right? So we basically made the well go to the people rather than people go to the well, right? पानी प्यासे के पास पानी भेजो, something like that, right? So we took the internet to them and digital to them
Okay.
to bring the cost of access to information much lower and lower and lower. Because the third reason is that most of the villagers used to go many, many kilometers to avail anything from ration to
Yeah.
anything, from
Correct.
education to anything. But if the whole center, this whole, let's say, digital studio go to close to their house, they don't have to travel, they don't have to lose their daily wage, they
Correct.
don't have to waste their travel cost and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
everything was working out very, very well, and that is when we started the number of centers much faster and bigger and all that. So actually this 2000 plus and 3000, close to 2500 is reached more in the last 10 years than the previous 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, especially more also after COVID.
I see.
Because you remember, in COVID time, most of the people started talking about digital divide, digital
Yes,
divide.
because
We were
everybody
talking about
shifted.
2000, early
I
2000.
know everybody
But
shifted to
shifted there is, oh,
working.
digital is very important. I have to order things, I have to get things at home and
Yeah.
all that. But for us, this problem was there all the time, just
True.
that the rest of the world started exploring since then.
Looks like rest of the world was moving on and they were sort of left back.
Left
Right.
back. Even
Yeah.
today, if you look at the hard data, 65% of Indian women do not have access to internet. They have not used internet in rural areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are still far, far away, but yeah, all of us are working hard to make sure that it happens.
How would you, expect, or what would you say to the younger generation, my generation, which is Generation Z or Gen Alpha, which is coming about? What do you think we can do to help make internet reach people in marginalized communities?
I would say that the biggest role of Zen, Generation Alpha or Generation Z or X is that they need to focus on to break the patriarchy of the country, the feudality of the country, the slavery based education system of the country. And they have to kick away rather than kick in, and create your own path, and apply more common sense. And the third most important thing is that please break away from being consumer, be a citizen. Because when you are a citizen, then you are conscious of your usage, of your likings, of your doings and everything, or buying and or producing, or but when you are a consumer, you are being consumed by somebody else, right? And the world in the last 20-30 years, because of capitalism, because of various kind of reasons, and even social media, we have become consumers. Even today we are consuming the data more than we can produce data, right? Like Gandhi had always said, that use the product made by the masses rather than the product made for the masses, right?
Yeah.
So India has masses, India is a producing country. Let's be producers of content rather than consumer of content, because you are using content, it is somebody else's.
Yeah.
And it may not be reliable, it may not be consumable. I always give this example is that, can you convert the data? Think about the data that you have to eat. Can you eat 2 GB of data by your mouth? Then why are you eating it through your mind or your eyes? It's going to hit you very hard, right? Because this is information that is going. So think about it's a mental food. It's a food through your eyes and ears and nose and mind, and it's not good for your health. And the world is very happy to to see you that you are being completely consumed by them as a data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're talking about data and technological innovations and consumerism largely, it brings me to a huge factor of nowadays, a lot of people's influence about AI. So how do you think AI can help people or your
AI
data
cannot
centers
help at
right
all.
now?
AI cannot help. It's the most dangerous technology, and it's a most dangerous pushed technology by the most rich corporate people. And it's a very simple thing. AI cannot live without data,
Yeah.
and we are the data.
Yeah.
The second thing, AI simply says, and everybody says, that AI wants to become more intelligent than the human intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence. That
Correct.
means it wants. Why should we give them a even chance to consume us,
Yeah.
right? Because of course machine will have this paraphernalia of data so much that it will start acting much smarter than an individual, right? But as an individual, right,
Yeah.
and if you replace with it, you cannot put soul into it, right? And
True.
without a soul, a machine is a machine,
Machine.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say that we should be very wary of AI. AI is also not environment friendly, not climate friendly,
Yeah.
high consuming of energy, land, everything. What you see in the cloud, or what you access through the cloud, has a physical footprint,
Correct.
right? Like in
Yeah.
data centers and so on and so forth. So I would say that Chat GPT and all is a hallucinating software. It's a hallucinating thing. It's very simple. Always try to do things where communities are involved, not machines. Simple.
Okay. So, I also had a question because, you're talking about your entire India reach and a lot of districts and a lot of villages. How are you sustaining the foundation? And how are, so many people are being impactful, so many data centers, so many leaders. So, how is it looking for you in the next 5 years and 10 years and the growth for you?
Digital Empowerment Foundation has a very unique way of working. We are, of course, as a foundation, we are dependent on donations and
Yeah.
philanthropy and CSR and so on and so forth. It's a not-for-profit organizations, but every program that we do on the ground is not sucking money all the time.
Yeah.
So it starts, but it becomes sustainable. For example, each and every Sushnapreneur, we're not paying them salaries.
Yeah.
They are earning, they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So the one time investment in one Sushnapreneur is not more than 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh.
Okay.
One or two laptops, one smartphone, one printer, one biometric machine, one lamination machine, and that's it. That's their shop. That's a shop of information, shop of trust, shop of knowledge, shop of counseling. And that gives them anywhere between 5,000 to 25,000 per person income in the
Okay.
village.
Wow. Okay.
And we don't take that money back.
Yeah.
It's theirs. So each one of them are regularly earning, and we have identified that 100,000 places in India where people are unable to access those information without losing time and money and cost of transportation and all that. So all those places are ripe to open such centers, and next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
because of the lack of trust on information services or information itself, these kind of phygital based, like I'm
Yeah.
trusting that
Trusting
woman,
that person.
now that woman has to bring the information for me to filter it and give it to me, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a service or
Yeah.
anything. So my job is taken care of, that I don't have to figure it out whether this click is working or not, or whether this will be cheated or not, and things like that. She is the trustee of the information, and she is providing me the filtered information, the counseled information, the needed information, the contextual information. I'm looking for a job, she will find it and give it to me to apply. I'm
Yeah.
looking for agricultural extension information, she will guide me to provide. So that way it is very, very sustainable, and that is how we are sustaining most of our projects. So our
Okay.
cost is always one time, and keep on raising
All right.
that fund from the donors.
Yeah. Really wish you good luck. And I hope, after listening to this talk as well, a lot of people, get encouraged to, further reduce the gap, the digital gap, and be very mindful of what they're reading online and probably even help marginalized communities as such. And it's such an honor to sit next to you and talk to you today. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. And the call to action is very simple. If you are supporting 100,000 rupees to any one lady, you are creating a lifelong entrepreneur. Simple. And she serves 2,000 people per year in her area. So it's a huge impactful call to action. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.